Here's a dramatization of what I think most Hollywood conversations go like behind the scenes nowadays. Excuse me, Mr. Hollywood executive, we have a new script here for you to read. Is it like based on a book? Yes sir, it actually is. Oh good, here's the $1 million. It's actually very accurate. Divergent is directed by Neil Burger and stars Shailene Woodley, Theo James, Kate Winslet, and Miles Teller. This movie is based on the popular book series by Veronica Roth, and what it's about is a girl who belongs to a certain faction. In fact, she's in post-apocalyptic Chicago, and all of these people there belong to various factions. Some are very courageous, some are very smart, some are good with farming. Everyone at some certain point in their life has to go through a test in which it's explained that they should be in part of a faction based off of this test they take. It's a very mental thing, and this test decides very quickly what faction you should be in. However, you're still given a choice. So the test, I don't really know why it's there. It's sort of like a guideline, I guess. She finds out that she is a divergent, someone who actually doesn't fit into a specific faction. That's extremely rare, and people are afraid of divergents because they have a possibility of overthrowing power, and all of them are executed. So she has to try to hide the fact that she's a divergent by joining the group called Dauntless, which are these warriors, the soldiers of their time. And she has to train and learn how to convince others that she should be in that faction, despite the fact that she's actually a divergent. Like I said in my intro, it seems like virtually every popular book nowadays, especially if it's a book series, and especially if it's young adult, is being turned into a movie franchise, whether it's Harry Potter, Twilight, Vampire Academy, Mortal Instruments, The City of Bones, they're everywhere, and Divergent is just another one, and that's not very surprising. But you know what actually is kind of surprising? It's actually not that bad. Shailene Woodley plays Triss, and she's one of my favorite actresses of recent years. She's really proved herself in movies like The Descendants and The Spectacular Now, and here she is very good in this role. She brings a lot of raw emotion to this character. I would liken her performance in some scenes to that of Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games, another very famous young adult book series turned into movie franchise. But she really does bring a lot of very good depth to her character. She's very convincing in the physical aspects, the learning how to fight, the training, the combat, all of that stuff. And she was also extremely good in the emotional scenes. Theo James as her trainer slash love interest is okay. He's alright in the movie. I think he's a little wooden at times, but he was nowhere near as bad as other men in certain franchises that we won't discuss. He was pretty good in the movie compared to that. Courtney as this really super badass, hard-ass trainer who doesn't take crap from anybody was really good in this movie. In fact, this is probably the best performance I've seen from him, which isn't saying much. Die Hard 5, but he was good in the movie is what I'm saying. A disappointing aspect of this movie was Kate Winslet's character. She is a terrific actress. I've seen her do great work in a lot of things, but her character here doesn't really have that much to do, and I mean that. Like, she kind of just walks in and out of scenes. She has moments where you're supposed to be like, okay, I see where you're going with this character. I see how she's supposed to be evil, and now you're supposed to be afraid of her, but you're just not, because the material isn't strong enough for her character, and she doesn't have that much screen time. It's not really until the third reel of the movie where you really start to see what's going on behind the scenes, which I will not spoil, and then you're like, okay, I see why this woman needs to get slapped. But up until then, you're like, she's a good actress. She's a good actress. The thing I enjoyed the most about this movie, and the thing that made the 2.5-hour runtime not unbearable, was the character of Triss. And she was played terrifically by Shailene Woodley. Some of the film's action scenes are done well, even though there is a bit of close-up shaky cam stuff, which I'm becoming used to, unfortunately. It's just gonna be there, but it's not overbearing at all. There's some really well done scenes in this movie. Some of the action is convincing. There's some cool stunt work as well too. And even though you can kind of take it and compare it to a lot of these other things like the various classes like Slytherin and the Harry Potters and all the districts in the Hunger Games, and here we have the factions, and you know, there are similarities, but it's enough of its own thing to warrant interest, and I think it was well made enough and well acted enough also to warrant interest, even though the central romance that develops is kind of wooden, and I didn't really care so much about it. And some of the characters are underused. I was surprisingly interested in this movie, and I had a good time watching it. It's a little too long, but my fiance, who read the book, says that it kind of had to be, because they already took out so much stuff, and they had to keep certain core things, so I understand that. I'm going to give Divergent a B. It's actually not too bad. I would suggest checking it out, and I'm hoping the sequels are a little bit better, and then we can get more into the characters and see where it's all going, and I think that'll happen. As I said, my fiance did read the book, and she has decided that she would like to start reviewing books from time to time on YouTube. She's a humongous book reader. She reads like hundreds of pages in a couple hours. It's crazy. She reads books so fast. I don't know how she does it, but she has done a review for Divergent, and I left a link for that in the description below if you want to go check out her channel. Subscribe if you would like to. I'm supporting her. It's what I do. I mean, I'm her fiance. I support her. I do my best. I love you, honey. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Divergent or have read the book, what do you think of the comparisons? What do you think of the new movie? What are your thoughts on the book? Are you excited to see where the sequels go? I would like to know what all of your thoughts are. Thanks a lot, guys, and as always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.